Sorry?
They say they can't arrest governors. Governors have immunity, but they can be investigated.
They can be investigated, but you can put Auditor General staff in ministries of finance at state level. There's nothing that stops in a constitution that stops you from doing that. If they are misusing money, you have a right to blow the whistle there. And you have a right to stop the rot before it blows out of proportion. They have immunity, fair enough, but you can stop them from stealing public money without recourse to the issue of immunity. Immunity is not immunity to steal.
Speaking about that states and perhaps those regions, the plan also spoke about the fact that they want to leverage on economic zones. And we've heard people say that, look, the country needs to be structured such that we take advantage of those zones and then grow. And how, or wouldn't that even further improve inflation? Because you say 2%, it's really small.
Yes.
So if they leverage on those zones, there'll be a lot of activity in those states. And perhaps that will go a long way, wouldn't it?
Yes, indeed. It will go a long way. And, the broader question I was being asked is, what would be the impact? If we implemented it well, no plan can ever be exhaustive. As a matter of fact, you only highlight the key priorities and how you intend to achieve it. Even these modest ones as it is, if we were to implement it rigorously, it will achieve, I think, very great results. And economic zones are important. We need them. We need to identify the comparative advantage of every zone. Lagos, Ogun area is good in manufacturing as well as transportation, logistics, because it's near the sea. Aba, Newi, heavy industry, machine tools. The north, agro-processing, agribusiness, agro-processing will be very, very strong. So we can identify all these zones and, target them, in terms of, special initiatives that will boost economies. Because at the end of the day, all economies are local. At the end of the day, you need a base, you need a place in which economic activities can boom. You need to create the right framework, you need to create stability, you need to create institutional support services, you need to put infrastructures in place. But I need to also say something that the plan is very silent on. It is true the government did a lot on insurgency. We have seen this huge serpent in his deathbed, literally wriggling with his last breath. It is good that we stamped this evil out. But I'm worried that we are not talking about, the so-called herdsmen farmers clashes. Especially in the Middle Belt, which, by the way, is the breadbasket of Nigeria. Thousands have been slaughtered, women, children, and we are silent about it. Is it that we have no conscience, or we have no humanity in us? Or is it because the people in these areas don't have a voice? Thousands are being killed. In fact, a lot of farmers in Nasarawa, southern Kaduna, Kogi, Plateau, Niger, a lot of these people are not going to their farms anymore. So you see, food prices are doubling, and in fact, hunger is rearing its terrible face in this country. So if we don't do something about this, these are militias, most of them from foreign countries. They are coming here with very sophisticated weapons. They are killing defenseless peasants. Women, there are cases where a pregnant mother, they really split the womb and brought out the baby and killed the baby. It has happened in this country. And it is going on. It is a silent genocide. And for the life of me, I don't understand why nobody has spoken. No voice of conscience has been raised. Why?
Well, that is a matter that a lot of people keep wondering what exactly is going on, because they've set up, they had, I think they call it interministerial committee to look at the cost of food crisis, and many still pointed to this matter.
Yes.
They had a separate team that set up different committees about security. Many pointed to this matter.
Yes.
But, you know, people also talked about the fact that they want to see this end. People brought to book. So we'll also hope that that will be...
I grew up in a rural countryside, and I grew up with Fulanis. They were the people that I played with as a child. And so for me, it's not a simple Fulani. The people have been living very, very peaceful. This is a well-armed group of militias, mostly from foreign countries, perhaps with the support of certain international forces who understand that if they can destroy the food base of Nigeria, they can eventually destroy Nigeria and bring about their dream of a divided and disintegrated Nigeria.
So that's another angle that they should take a look at it from.
This looks like part of it, and our national intelligence services should be smart enough to see through this nonsense and do something about it.
Let me bring up a matter which you highlighted briefly while you were making your opening comments about Tunisia, what Ben Ali did with the middle class.
Yes.
But you know that those who will say, if it was that successful, why did we have Arab Spring in 2011?
You know, I've been a student of history, and I know that revolutions don't take place when people are at their worst. This is very counterintuitive. Revolutions actually take place when things are getting better, but people want more than the system can provide. This is exactly what happened. It was a case involving a young man called Mohammed Bouazizi. I lived not far from the suburb where he lived, and he finished school. He read computer science, and for over 2 years he had no job. He was just about 25, 26, and he decided to set up a small market stall selling fruits and vegetables. His ambition was to own a truck that would go to his ancestral farm. He would buy crops and bring them. His father had died. He was the one looking after his ailing mother and his 2 sisters. Then, of course, Tunisia is a very strict country in terms of regulations. So a policewoman came to him and said, let me see your permit for opening this stall. He said, look, my father died. And actually, she literally said, F-U-C-K, your father. And then she said, my mother is ill, so to hell with your mother. And she actually slapped him. Now, an Arab young man, Arabs, if you live among them, they are very mature. The height of humiliation is to be slapped by a woman, regardless of if this woman is in uniform. We do apologize to our young woman here. And this is the Arab culture. A man cannot be slapped by a woman. She slapped him in public. He couldn't take it. He went to his mother, he cried. He went to the police commissioner, lodged a complaint. Nobody will see him. So he wrote a final letter, look, if you don't see me on this case, I will commit suicide. So he went and they didn't listen to him. So he bought a gallon of petrol, put it on himself, and lit the fire. Unfortunately, he didn't die. So it reached a point where...
we didn't quite that point.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately. But we appreciate your comment on, pardon me, that's all I had to go this morning. And Dr. Obadiah Mailaifia, former Deputy Governor of CBN, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming on today.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be back in a moment. Join us again.